Hello, everybody. This is Wesley Adams talking from Boxland Media, and welcome to the Central Ohio GameDev Meetup. Woohoo! Great to see everybody. I have folks here in person for the first time in a long time for this event. We're very excited to be partnering with Boxland Media this weekend on Saturday, March 29th. If you're not familiar, we are a game development group, public to anybody. You do not need to have game development experience or anything like that. We're just here to help give people opportunities to showcase what they're working on, talk about news around the Central Ohio area, and talk about what you're working on. So we're going to be a little bit run with the flow. Sorry for a little bit of the late arrival. We're trying a lot of things out. We're trying to figure out how things work. So bear with us as we kind of go through some changes. But at the very least, we are extremely excited to have everybody here. We have about 14, 20 people here, which is really exciting. I was not expecting this many people. It's really, really cool. So to kind of give you a little bit of rundown, if you're kind of looking through our slideshow deck, we have a great group of folks. We've been around since, I don't know, like 2010, if not earlier. And our goal is to kind of give people an opportunity to learn about game development in the Central Ohio area, or just kind of have a place to showcase if they have something they're working on. And for the Game Dev Meetup today, we have 4 presenters. We're going to frontline that with some news, some very short stuff about what COGG is, kind of like what we're doing now. And then afterwards, we'll do some networking. So if you're in person, we'll get a chance to kind of casually talk to each other if you want to, get to know each other. And then I'll talk a bit about the space. So kind of going through on meetup.com, we have about 2,300 members and about 800 members on Discord. Honestly, the one thing that was great about COVID is we did a lot of stuff online, right? So we had to kind of grow there. So that's kind of helped us out quite a bit. So there's some different network streams you can kind of go there. If you're on our YouTube stream, you actually are learning and seeing a lot of our events that we normally stream right there. So you can look there as well. Sign up, subscribe, as they say, all that good stuff. TheCOGG.com is a great place to go to if you want to learn more about our social media handles, our events, and all that good stuff. If you want to see more of our games, thecog.com/games. If you want to learn about news, there's thecog.com/news. And then the easiest way to email us is info@thecog.com. So I don't have that there. But if you find the COG, you're going to probably find us. That'd be the easiest way to find everything about us. We are also a collection of partnered developers with groups like CCAD, Columbus State, OSU, and more. And then we have sister sites like the Cleveland Game Developers, the IGDA in a chapter in Cincinnati. There's a new Gem City Game Developers group. And there's a lot of really great places to meet up. So if Columbus isn't your thing, let us know. We can get you connected with a lot of different resources as well. We're just here to kind of share the wealth, so to speak. Our usual cadence, which if you're here, there's actually flyers in the back. You can kind of pick these up, kind of more information about what we are physically. We have Prototype and Play, which is the second Friday of the month. So currently right now that's going to be online. It seems like, yeah, so that's going to be online. And then that'll be April 11th, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have a new thing that we're kind of replacing our middle of the month event, which is the community spotlight. So that might be you going to an expo and you want to kind of showcase a little bit about what you're working on. If you're going to stream your game online, let us know. All you have to do is we just want to help support you. Just email us at info@thecog.com. We'll connect with you. We'll make events for you. We'll share your information. For some of you, even today, are sharing a release, right? So maybe you want us to help share your release of your game. Let us know how we can help you, and we'll reciprocate it through our networks. So that's Community Spotlight. That's kind of a new thing we're kind of testing out. One of the things I like to tell people about is if you go to thesandbox.space, they are actually a weekly podcast for like a fireside chat that one of the guys I work with, Chris Volpe, who helps run the GDEX Gaming Expo, is doing like a person-to-person talk about the game industry. So they talks about game development professionals. So it's a great place to start. GameDev Meetup is the one you're at right now, which is the last Saturday of the month. So that's April 26th for next month, and that'll be from, at least right now, we're anticipating it maybe being online 1 p.m. to 4 p.m., but we need to kind of confirm that. We're still testing this event out. We may have this every month. We may have this every couple of months. We may have it every other month. We're not sure yet. We're trying things out. So bear with us while we kind of feel out the waters and see how it goes. And we're kind of excited to get your feedback as well. If this works out great, we want to try to see how that works and kind of get things coordinated that way. So our social media are down there, but kind of like I mentioned before, you can go to the COGG.com. They have a lot of really good resources at the top, our social media at the top right. I highly suggest going to our Discord. It's kind of like our 24/7 hotspot. Even if you're not really into Discord, it's kind of like a instant messenger of sorts. You can get it on your phone, you can get it on your computer, and it's the fastest way to contact us. And so I would definitely check that out. Once you go there, you'll see something like this where you'll see kind of channels on the left. I highly suggest once you go in here, you'll kind of pop up in this area where we have like new people coming in all the time. Read the rules. It's just kind of basic thing. Be nice to each other. But what it really does is it kind of gives you a lot of information, like who the mods are and whatnot, our monthly events, that good stuff, all the links there. And then what I would say is kind of start poking around. Really kind of look into the community sections. You have a lot of great resources there, whether you want to share your games. We try to go through these as much as we can throughout the weeks and even during expos. When we do our Let's Plays online, we kind of start off here. And then also when we do our prototype and play events, we do them here. So if they are online, we do them here. Sometimes they're in person. Sometimes I like to showcase my cat. So bear with us when we're going through some cool stuff there. But yeah, feel free to look around. There's a collaboration board. So if you are looking for a job or if you have a job offer, it's a great place to start. We talk about hardware, art, sound, business, all kinds of good stuff. So check it out. It's a great place to kind of work through there. So yeah, feel free to go through some of these tabs if you want to. It's got a lot of really great resources for you to go and see more about our event. All right. So without further ado, I think we'll go ahead and just kind of run through because we're running late. We got a lot of presentations, a lot of cool stuff. Before I go through, I kind of want to do a couple of little shout outs to our venue. So if you're not familiar, boxlandmedia.com is a great place to go if you want to learn more about this. Is it Sean, is it a nonprofit?
It is.
You want to talk a little bit about it?
Oh, sure. Hey, hi.
Since you kind of know more about it.
Yeah.
And I will, do the spiel once I kind of get it very nailed down. So
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so we're a nonprofit. So we've got a theater space here. So behind the curtain there is a 20 by 20 stage where we can put on different shows. We've had a bunch of different concerts and all kinds of things. Full bands in there and improv, stand up, everything, sketch comedy. We also do podcasts on the other side of the business there. The podcast rooms over there on the right. So we can show you that later. And we also do video production. So and graphic. What's the word I'm looking for? Animation. Yeah. Yeah. All kinds of stuff. Yeah. There you go.
yeah.
Check it out.
And I was just gonna say, like, it's funny because is it Ben or Benjamin? Ben. Okay, Ben. When we talked together, he was saying like, hey, I went to CCAD. I'm like, oh, cool, I did too. So it's kind of funny how this kind of got stirred up a little bit, but it was kind of a way to help promote and support the local communities as well. So this is a really, really great fit for us to kind of help support you guys. If you want to get involved, it's going to help support the multimedia industry here within Columbus as well. So if you supporting being here and participating in these different, say if you do need a podcast, or we're going to have like the bar open tonight if you want to pay for a couple of little things here and there, that helps to go towards the local communities. So any way that you want to support events like this only helps to grow our community. So if you're interested in that, this is a great place to do that. So we're excited to kind of showcase. And if you want to learn more, just let us know. We can connect you with these folks, or if you want to talk to them while you're here, that'd be a great place to kind of learn as well. So thank you so much for having us too. So, and we're very excited to have this today. So cool. All right. Just wanted to do that real quick shout out. Oh, one last thing, because I got to get through my news. If you haven't had a chance, you may have gotten an email from GDEX, which is the Game Expo happening in September. So that is going to be at the convention center. It's a great place to kind of showcase if you want to showcase your games. That'll be thegdex.com. And they are looking for applications. So if you're interested, they are still accepting, and they probably will for a bit, like, different types of speakers. I don't know if they have volunteers up quite yet, but we are working on that. That's usually something we kind of get towards the middle of the year. But if you're looking to apply, now's the time to do it because, like, especially Artist Alley and the iSpace, which is independent student experimental, is still looking for new members, and that's probably the most affordable folks, in here, kind of doing their own shop, is a great place to kind of have that as well. So you can go to thegdx.com, you can go to apply, and then go to exhibitors. Oh, and it looks like we do have all the buttons there too, so you can check that out. Definitely check it out, and you'll find all the pricings as you kind of sign up. But if you have that email, I think you can kind of get MailChimp. Okay, you can find some of the pricings there too. We try to keep them relatively affordable. I know that it's pretty, you know, expensive to go to a lot of places, but the goal is to kind of, especially if you're Central Ohio, to try to find ways to kind of get you guys an affordable way to present something in front of a large crowd. So more opportunities there, and we'll obviously be promoting this throughout the year. Cool. All right, without further ado, we'll get our first presentation. So I think first up is Shield. So if you want to come on up and showcase your game. Before I go through, while he's kind of setting up and things, as a reminder, there's a bathroom in the back here. We'll get food here kind of later throughout the day when we get presentations kind of wrapped up. There'll be networking afterwards. And then if you need Wi-Fi password, we can give that to you as well. It's basically on the piano over there on the corner. You can find it as well. I won't do it live because we're live, but you can find it too if you need it, internet. All right, I'm done babbling. Let's give a round of applause for Shield as he comes up.
Hello, everyone. I'm Shield, and I am working on a game called Stone Accord, as you can see on my shirt. Is my microphone working okay? Oh yeah, that's much better. With me, Shield Jenner 7. So, what is Stone Accord? For those you don't know, it is a 2D platformer Metroidvania where you go and explore the world and get abilities and stuff. And I will show you that very soon here. So yeah, I started this quite a few years ago. It's been 9 years since I started it. Um, and most of my projects don't go this long. Um, I'm pretty happy with Oh, it's not displaying. Okay.
Is it on the second monitor?
Yeah, it's on the second monitor. All right, duplicate.
Yep.
All right. I was wondering why PowerPoint looked weird.
Yeah.
All right. So now here is the game. It has sound in it. Yes. So this little guy here, he is made of stone. So he can't move his limbs, like he can't do this. He can't move his arms up and down. Um, but he can, because he's a magic unicorn, he can teleport. And he can even teleport through walls. And he can light torches that he finds along the way. Um, and yeah, that's the whole game. Just going through like little mazes like this. There's nothing else in the game. Um, and I'm just gonna show you the whole game right now in like 2 minutes because it's really short. um. So, yeah. So one thing I found that's very interesting about this game, is that, um, I've seen people play this game, like watch people play it, and then, uh, play it themselves, and then not completely understand how it works until they play it themselves. 'Cause, like watching it and playing it are like two different things. And I guarantee that if you go home today, like if you, um, figures. So yes, if you go home today and try it out yourself, it probably won't click until you start playing it yourself because, well, yeah, I am the developer, so I know how it goes. But yeah, so that's the basic premise of the game is that he's teleporting around, and uh, yeah. So get that PowerPoint here. Okay, so that is what it is, and you might be wondering, uh, about this guy here. That guy's Murky. He's the main character of the game. Can you see my mouse pointer? You can. Okay, good. So why am I making this game? It's because I have lots of game ideas all the time, and one of this particular game idea was inspired by an episode of My Little Pony, and I want to show you that real quick.
Twilight? Is that you? Oh, Twilight, it is you. Thank goodness you're here. I need your help. The girls are out here somewhere, and I'm afraid that they're... What's happened to you? Oh, no. If you've been turned to stone, it must mean... Oh, no. The girls.
At the end of the episode, she went back to normal, everything's fine. But, like, what if she didn't? Then she'd be stuck in stone forever, and then how would you deal with that? And Twilight, she can teleport, so that's where I got the game idea from. Is like make a game about a unicorn who got turned to stone and has teleport everywhere. And that's where the initial inspiration came from. But like that sat as a game idea in my head for quite a while, and then in 2015, Ori and the Blind Forest came out, and that's like a huge beautiful Metroidvania. I describe it as like a Disney movie in game form. Brilliant game. I loved it. It's my favorite game. And that inspired me to actually start working on this game idea. And then like a whole bunch of other things inspired me along the way. For example, The Witness inspired it to be like kind of open world, and Braid, also like the time rewind mechanic. I kind of got the idea from there. And then climate change is an issue that's very important to me. So there's like splashes of that in the game as well. Kind of tangential to the whole teleporting unicorn thing, but it makes sense if you think about it. But yeah, so that's why I'm making the game. And why have I stuck with it for so long, for 9 years? And the answer is this group right here, COGG. Like, yes. You all are amazing, and you're the reason why this game is as far along as it is. And I'm really happy about it. Like no other prototype I have has ever gotten this far. But so speaking of getting this far, how has the journey been along the way? There's been quite a few major events. So 2015 is when I started it, and then right after that, I joined COGG because of the Global Game Jam that they had in January. And then GDEX 2017 was the first time I exhibited Sonocorn at a convention, and I've demoed at several different conventions since then. Then in 2018, I got an artist who brought in a whole bunch of people and like greatly improved the artwork. Like it was all programmer art before he came along, and so like the art style is like definitely because of the dev team that I had around that time. And unfortunately, I was a programmer and not so much a manager, and I didn't know how to manage a group of we had like 10 people or something, and it was a lot all at once. And so the dev team disbanded because of administration issues, and other things. But the game continued on even after that, and in GDEX Game Jam 2020. That was the first GDX Game Jam they did, and it was 2 weeks. So like you're used to being 2 days. This one was 2 weeks, and it was interesting. I worked with a team on that Game Jam. I spent the first week not even working on the game. I worked on the dialogue editor for a dialogue system, and that dialogue system I took with me and I put it into Stonecorn and lots of other games because it was a lot easier to use. Like the previous dialogue system I had for Stonecorn, I had to manually edit timestamps into the data to say when that line would appear. It was not great, but the dialogue system I did for the GDX Game Jam was really good. And then March 2021 was the last annual update I did for Sonocorn, and I think at that time I had a feeling that that was going to be the last one I did for a while because I was losing motivation or something, I forget. And I just wanted to be like, okay, I could say it's kind of done a little bit, and I made a big push for that, and that's the last time I did it. Also, I stole the slide from that presentation. So why was there a 4-year gap? Lack of motivation. It's part of it. So the scope is really huge in the game. So I was thinking, okay, how can I make the scope smaller? And so I decided that I would make it 5 levels. 5 levels is easy, right? And I had a certain theme with the game where, like I said, focus on mechanics first. There's a theme first, and then that inspired like how the levels were laid out and like what the story was and stuff. And the funny thing was is that the very last level I had planned was super ambitious and required changing a level completely from how it used to be. And it was super ambitious and completely defeated the purpose of like decreasing the scope. Also, the other characters weren't going to be stoned, so they could move. That required animations. So it was like that's not the main reason why I didn't work on that. It was because uh so if you don't know, there's the sun that comes and destroys everything on the planet and kills you at the like in 6 minutes. Um it's I'm trying not to give too much spoilers, but that's kind of necessary context because that created a very interesting game loop where you had to like get through the world in time before the next cycle came. And when I removed that for this 5-part story thing, uh, it didn't feel so good. I even removed the time rewind ability, and I didn't realize how much I was using that as a crutch until I had removed it because the time rewind really made it so there's no soft locks in the game. You can just rewind time whenever you want. And as a designer, I didn't have to think about what if the player gets stuck in this pit, what if the player gets stuck over there. Didn't have to worry about it. So like I kind of like in a state of limbo where I didn't really know where to go forward with the game. And after like a year or two, I decided, you know what? I really like this other version. I'm just going to go back to that. Other things happened in March 2022. I moved to Columbus, so it's kind of hard to like move and make a release at the same time. So I didn't. And then 2023, my brother died, and that was really hard. And then 2024, I don't remember what happened. I think I was working on a card game or something. And then March 2025, I made 0.635, which is like the. But the point is that I did it this year, which is great. So what's new? There's lots of things new. Like I mentioned, the dialogue system is much improved, and it's much easier to work with and maintain. And I used the Grimm's Wish is the name of the Game Jam game. That's like one of my favorite Game Jam games I've ever made with the team. And then let's see, what else did I do? Oh, I make unique sprites for all the NPCs in the game. And before, like a lot of them were just like recolored versions of Murky. So like I'm pretty happy with that. And I'll show that in the presentation in the future slide. Added several points of interest, like landmarks and stuff. I made some unique sprites for some of the things. Fixed a lot of bugs, made a lot of tools. Oh, I made a lot of tools. Have you heard of Tools Day? Like a day of the week dedicated to tools. Um, I learned a lot about Unity and making tools. I also had some new features that I like get closer to my idea of the end goal of the game, but they're super ambitious and kind of increase the scope a bit. But I really want to do it, so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it, and I did it. Um, and then I reworked some of the abilities. Like in the previous version in 2021, I had like all the abilities completed, but they didn't work quite well. They needed testing, and I decided to rework some of them. Unique sprites for ability upgrades, new enemies. Oh, I added some new monsters you can interact with. I added skins. Someone said that'd be a cool idea, so you can like have different costumes and run around with that. And then menu options. Yeah, so a lot of stuff there. I learned a lot along the way. So I learned how to use custom tags. I learned React, which was great because the dialog editor I made back then was hard to use, and I made a new one in React, which is a lot easier to use. And it's so much easier to use React than to use C# for that. Like the Windows form controls is not as easy as having something react to what you're doing. And shaders. I actually learned how to use shaders. Like you see the little uh, the layers in this level. Like I learned how to use shaders for that. I used them once before, but I didn't really understand at the time. But yeah, so I been leveling up my Unity skills, and Burst is another one. That's for parallel processing and making things faster. I learned how to use that, and some other things I'm probably forgetting. Um, and then so before I go to this slide, I'm going to go to this one. So this is the characters that I made for the game, and I'm really happy with how they turned out for the most part. I didn't have time to make make new sprites for all of them, and you could probably tell which ones had updated sprites this year, and which ones didn't. But I was like, two of them have unique sprites already, so I don't have to really worry about that. So first we have Murky the Stone Accord, which is what the game is named after. He's the main character. And then we have Io the Moonicorn. There's my mouse at. My mouse is on screen. And she is the one who leads Murky on in his quest to escape the planet, and helps him figure out what to do and where to go. So she's a quest giver NPC. And then the rest of the NPCs, they help Murky by giving him an ability that he can use to get to the planet faster and level up his abilities and stuff. And there is more to say about each of them, but I'm not sure I have time to go into each of their characters. But I am super happy. I got a voice actor for each one of them, and I wasn't actually going to do it because I didn't think I don't have time for that. But then my sister's like, you know what? We can probably do that. And it's like, you know what? We probably can. So we did it. So in like the previous version, it was just me and my sister doing all the voices ourselves, but this time I actually have more people working on it, so I'm pretty happy about that. And then going back to this, so there's one ending to the game currently, and there's going to be a second ending eventually, but I haven't gotten that far yet because that ending is super ambitious in terms of like how much programming is involved, how much art and like level design and stuff. And then some more features I want to add. A new ability that I haven't added yet. Sometimes the ability upgrades are hard to find, so I was going to add like a way to make it easier by having like little critters that like run towards that ability upgrade when you get near them. More puzzles, challenges to like fill in the empty space. NPCs, making them more robust and react to your what you do more. So I require a lot more voice acting and stuff too. We work the abilities, test the abilities a little bit more, and stuff like that. So there's a lot of stuff. It's really hard to say what I want to do in the future without spoiling the ending. So that's as much as I'm going to say for now. So plans. Uh, I feel like I could actually release this in 2027. If I worked on it like as consistently as I have the last 2 or 3 months, I probably could get it done. The art and the level placement and like the decoration stuff might be a little bit difficult, but I think like having a feature complete and having like the puzzles there, I could probably do that by 2027. I say that very optimistically, But I think my future self might have other ideas potentially, but we'll see how it goes. And also spin-off games. There is currently already one spin-off game on itch.io, and there's like a second one that I was working on at one point. Um, so yeah, I'm pretty excited about that too. And they is there anything else I want to say? Yeah, so that's also the sources for the images I stole. But yeah, so that's the annual update of the Stonicorn and how it's going, and I'm really happy to share everything, all of this with you guys. Thank you very much.
Normally, what we do in these type of presentations, even online, is if you have questions, we give you a couple minutes. If you have questions for Shield here, you can answer that. If not, then we can keep moving through. But if you do, could you?
Yes. So how? Anyone have any questions?
Was your world map the actual map, and how far did we get through it? And then if you could repeat the question for people online.
Oh yes. So the question is this the actual world map, and how far did we get into the game by going through the presentation? So if you noticed, every single slide had a different background, and yes, these slides. That's annoying. I'm so glad I didn't do that this time. Every single one of the screenshots I took, like right when I was making the PowerPoint presentation. But yes, that's a screenshot. So the answer is yes. That is an actual screenshot of the world map. And if you really wanted to cheat, you could use that and like say, okay, how am I going to plan my route to get through the end of the game? But yes, that is actual world map, and I thought, no one's going to notice any of the details because it's on a PowerPoint presentation. It's really hard to see. So it's spoiler safe in my opinion. Yes. That is a very good question. So the question is, how popular is my game and the spin-off games? I am not that very popular, and that game isn't that well known yet. But I do have some anecdotes. There's like 5 videos that someone posted online of the previous versions of the game. So there's like people that I didn't know that just made videos in the game. I'm pretty happy about that. And there's also one time I went to TrotCon, which is a pony convention, and I wore this short. I wore the shirt there one day, and I went to the video gaming where I was just passing through, and someone walks up to me and says, "Hey, I know that game. I have it on one of the computers here." I didn't know them. I didn't know they put it on the computer, but like I was like, yes. So a little bit it's a little bit known, but not to an insanely big degree. um but yeah, I'm hoping to uh make change that a little bit maybe in the future.
Questions. The one I have is if people want to play or get involved in this, what's the best way to do it?
Yeah, I knew I should include a slide for that. So the question is, how do you play the game if you want to play the game? And the easy answer is to go to stoneacorn.com, the easy answer. And down here you'll find a link to go to itch.io. The Steam page isn't up yet, but itch.io, it has the current build, which is the 2025 635 build. I left the last ones up there. Yes, just in case. Um, the screenshots haven't been updated yet. I plan to do that when I get home today. But yeah, itch.io, stonecorn.com. Thank you.
put this down afterwards. And then we'll keep moving through. So the next one coming up, we have Jason, who's showcasing his game. It's actually a release. So I'm going to play a little bit of this. Maybe not, so. There we go. And just kind of like as a note too, is like I know there's a lot of folks out there that might be like playing some games and just or making them and being like, hey, how do I get my game out there? And the biggest thing I can say is just do it. Our goal is to have this like group in many different ways to kind of get you involved as a kind of support to have you get motivated, right? So just to kind of Shield's point, like, just keep trying to make stuff, right? So without further ado, I'll have you switch up and just bear with us while we kind of get technology changed.
Update. No, it's just rebooting. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and talk then. So my name is Jason Seabaugh, and you might know me around COGG as the Fortune and Famine guy. I made this game, Fortune and Famine. It's a digital tabletop game. Whatever. There's a lot to unpack and a lot of things that I wish I'd known about releasing on Steam before I released on Steam, but this is the way it goes. And I have a lot to unpack, so I'm not actually ready to talk about the but like I said, I'm not going to talk about that today. I'm going to talk about something else that I did. And that is my process of building and making a tabletop game, which is something that I started working on. I mean, there is a theme here. I did take a 4-year break also at some point. Prototype, playtest, repeat. The give and take story. So give and take is a card game that I was making. Yes, you got the pun. Thank you. Give and take is a card game that I started building something like 5 or 6 years ago, and I wanted to talk a little bit about my process because I've recently pulled it back off the back burner, and I'm about ready to start playtesting and working on a new version of it. So I want to tell you a little bit about the inspiration that I had that drove me to want to make a tabletop game. And that was, obviously, we are all game creators here, and a lot of us might also be board gamers, possibly. I know that I sure was really into the hobby, collecting and making board games. And in fact, something like 7 years ago, I was running a lot of board game nights at my home and at cafes for groups. And sometimes you wouldn't know how many people you would get. Sometimes you would have 4 people show up. Sometimes you would have, 16 people show up. And it made it really hard to plan because it kind of became my responsibility for this very sporadic group of people to figure out what games we were going to play and then teach them to those people and figure out how many groups we were going to split into. And while doing this, I realized that a lot of games don't scale up very high. They are made for a certain player count. And if it is a game that supports like a lot of players, it isn't good for a smaller number. And, I approach game design as problem solving. And for me, that was a problem that I wanted to solve. So using that, I created some design criteria of what I felt that my ideal game that I was going to build was going to be like. I wanted it to have a scalable player count from as little as 2 people to as many as 12. I wanted it to have engaging play at all times, even out of turn, because that was a big thing that I noticed in large groups of people, is if it takes too long for it to come back around to your turn, then I'm on my phone or I'm having a chat or I haven't been paying attention at all. So like how can you participate in a game when it takes like 5 minutes to get back to you? So that is one of my main design criterias. I wanted short, fun rounds for drop in and drop out because when you're running games for people, you'll notice that people show up late or people need to leave early. And either you can't start a game because you're waiting for someone or everything is ruined because it's like, oh, I got to go. My cat's sick. In the card, I didn't invest time doing art yet at this point. I just used photos of stuffed animals because I thought it was actually kind of funny as temporary art. Got people talking at the tables and stuff. I had an innovation here, the DJ token to keep things moving. This was my solution to the Sushi Go problem of, is it your turn? Is everybody ready? Is everybody ready to play? And that was that one player would have the DJ token, and it was their job. And everyone had to hold your card up when you were ready too. Everyone had to hold their card up, and it was the DJ's job to see that everyone had their card up and then say go, bam, and you would all play together. And the result, of course, is that sometimes you would have a timid DJ, and they'd be like, "Is everyone ready? Is everyone?" So the same thing would happen, right? The same thing, the same problem would happen, but it was a little better. It's a little better anyway. And I had this other concept that I actually thought was a pretty good innovation that, well, that I moved away from. But the idea is that I had these double-sided cards. On one side was the fruit that you would win, which was the points that you would win. On the other side was the dance that would get called. And the dance, of course, is how you score the points. Like you've got you'd have a set of orangutans, and if orangutango came up, then you get to collect your orange, right? And you would do that by drawing cards from the deck. But they were double-sided, so then you would be able to flip them back over to call dances, and it was just a little bit too complex. However, at my second prototype stage, I felt confident enough to then show it to strangers. So I had my first public playtest at a CatCon in 2019. Yes, 2019, that was many years ago. I found some great people to test with, and it gave me the ability to do something that I hadn't done yet, and that was play a full 6-player game. I had a concept for this that you would get like 2 copies of it. You could buy like one that had like black cards and one that had white cards on the back, so you could mix them together but then separate them easily. And that was part of the scalability, is you could combine 2 and then scale it up to 12. And I was never able to test a 12-player game, but getting a 6-player game in helped me figure out a lot of problems. Those problems, the cards needed a clear resolve priority. So in Sushi Go, you're just playing a card for yourself. It doesn't really interact with anyone else's card. But in my game, you had monkeys that you were then moving to your dance floor. You had animals that would attack other players, and then there were some like conflict issues. Like right away, it's like, well, whose card resolves first? And what happens if 2 people play give and take? Do you take it from me and I take it right back? And I didn't have that figured out yet. It was also a little too random still, and it was unclear to me if having skill would be a factor in winning the game or not. Not everyone got the DJ concept, right? People would forget that they had the DJ concept. I had to do a lot of coaching and explain it was time to go. But one thing I didn't consider is that you quickly run out of table space because you're building up these sets of dancers on your dance floor in front of you, and it's like rummy, and you're just filling the place in front of you with fruit cards and dancer cards of 5 different types, and some people would want to lay them out differently, which was not table space efficient. It would get out of hand. This was also a fun takeaway because there were some kids at a CatCon. I was able to find out that kids liked it. And this kid here also knew that many of my monkeys in the game were actually apes and not monkeys, which means I had to go in and I had to like reword everything. And that's like one of those dumb things that like, well, I should have known. I'm like a technical person, but here I've got like gorillas and orangutans and I'm calling them monkeys and they're not, which is pretty embarrassing. So I had to like make a decision. Am I going to like get rid of orangutango, which is like a great pun, or I'm just going to rename the cards to primate. So it went from being a monkey dance party game to being a primate party game. Refinement. So after you're inspired and you make and you innovate, then it's time to start refining it. And this is where the real cycle begins. Here I have an example of my graphic design progression as I started working through different ways that I could represent the different kinds of cards. I moved away from my stuffed animal temp art cards so I could focus on having like really solid and clear graphic design. And I just replaced the temp stuffed animals with much more boring silhouettes. But I figured, hey, I would have the illustrations eventually, but I needed to make sure that the cards themselves communicated what was going on very clearly. These 3 cards on the right there, the turntable, the boa, and the lion, those are cards I called party crashers, right? And this is how I solved the resolve priority problem with this star system. Like the more stars there were on the card, then that would have resolve priority. So that would take priority over the other ones. And it worked pretty well. The game was still too complicated. So then I did my second playtest at CincyCon in 2020. This was my setup at the table. I brought my bongos and a stuffed animal and stuff. I thought I had a pretty good presentation. Next time I do this, I realize I'm gonna bring bananas. Like everyone has fruit, I'm gonna bring like a bunch of bananas. So everything went really well at the CincyCon 2020 playtest. I met Jonathan Hartzell, the maker of Fortune and Famine, which then started me building that game. Just bringing it back. This is my journey here is what led me to make Fortune and Famine, which is available now on Steam. Please pick it up and then write a good review. So it was a good play test. I even tested out some expansion content because I had expansions in mind at the time too. And then COVID strikes, right? So it was literally like at CincyCon, like my wife's texting me and she's like, "Oh, there's this like virus, and like, is that gonna be a problem?" And so we all remembered what 2020 was like, right? Especially early 2020. And if you were really into the board gaming hobby, it was all of a sudden you couldn't be into the board gaming hobby anyway because you had to be physically with people to play board games. And so I was like, well, this is done. And I threw Give and Take on the back burner, and then I worked on Fortune and Famine instead for 4 years. 5 years. Slide 5 is 5 years later here. Bam, bam. So 5 years later, after making Fortune and Famine, I decide to resurrect it. It was actually my wife that revived Give and Take. And when you've had 5 years to reflect on a game design, you start to realize things that you should have in the first place. One is that simultaneous play is you're never really going to solve for that unless you have a dedicated group of people. So we were like, let's try it without simultaneous play. Threw that out. I removed the double-sided fruit deck and dance cards because it created a lot of complexity in the scoring. Like there was this mechanic that I had where every dancer card had a favorite fruit, and you would poll until you found their favorite fruit or stop at 3. And explaining that to people just is too much, right? It's too much to explain on paper, and at my playtests, it was too much to explain then, and I had to. So it's like it was never going to fly. So we simplified. We replaced the dance cards with a simple die roll, and we replaced the fruit side of the dance card with just tokens. You just get fruit tokens. And then I also made a change to save table space by having some of the sets clear after scoring, and it theoretically makes for a much better game. It's a different game. It's a better game, I hope, but time will tell. I haven't really done any large format playtests with it. I probably am not even going to do any blind playtests for a while. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Buckeye Game Fest. I'm going to be playtesting at Buckeye Game Fest, and then I'll make notes, and then I'll make changes, and we'll start that cycle of prototype playtest and repeat all over again. If there's any fun takeaways that I can give you from my experience making this game is that you don't really have to wait 5 years to throw out things that aren't working. And if you just step back maybe for like a couple of months, maybe you then come back to something with fresh eyes, that's probably sufficient as long as you're humble enough to learn from your mistakes. So if we have got some time here at the end of the night, I do have the rough version with me if anyone wants to play test. I'd love to play around. Please follow me on simiusbusiness.com. Follow Give and Take, Simius Business on socials. Getting the word out is really hard when you're hustling to make a product, and it's very much on my mind after having released the Steam game. So just following and sharing my content is really all I need from from you. But let's play a game.
And then we'll have repeat the question. Yeah, what's your question? Yeah. So how do you solve problems like people coming in and out of your game?
Well, the idea is that it has short rounds, right? So it's like, you're playing a game and the scoring, it's like, okay, you won this round. The game plays like, so I got like three fruit piles, right? So there's apples, oranges, and bananas, and the different primates will score different ones. And when one of them empties, then the game's over. And then you count it up and you're over. So theoretically, the game should take like, I don't know, like 10 minutes, hopefully. I don't know. I haven't done enough like testing to see. But if you can think about it, it's like 15-minute, 20 minutes intervals on a game. People can come and go in games that only take 20 minutes. But hopefully it's fun enough that everyone wants to stay and play another one and play another one. And I did have that experience when I was playtesting, even the rougher version. People were enjoying it and playing multiple times.
How often would you say that the content informed the game design versus the other way?
Well, that's tricky. I look at game design and the art and the theme very holistically. Like all of those things should work together, right? At least a little bit. Like you can have a game design that is working against your theme, or you can have art that doesn't really support what you're doing, and it might still kind of work, but it's going to feel fractured. Um, but yeah, it's like I had design criteria and I kind of shoehorned it into my theme. And I had some things that weren't working. Like I had this idea for the Kickstarter, like you could like there was a zookeeper card in the original version. And the idea is a zookeeper, you'd throw it down and then like if you play the zookeeper, all the other cards that were just played together would then get thrown out, right? So it was kind of a spoiler card. But I had this idea for a Kickstarter where you could get a personalized version where you could get like a caricature of your face as the zookeeper, like, for being like a big contributor or something. And I thought that was a good idea. So I kept the zookeeper around for a while, but there just really isn't a place for it in the current version. So I had to toss it. Hmm. That is a great question. So I did have a notebook where I kept notes. After playing, if like I would explain it to people and I would watch. So I would observe and I had to kind of like pick up on like what they were confused about and what was frustrating. And so I got a little of that just from observing, but I would always ask a few questions afterwards. And if I noticed something like a person had a problem remembering to do something, I might ask them about it at the end. And it's like, was that too confusing for you? And then I would kind of let them talk about it a little bit. Um, but on feedback, it's always important to understand that you need to interpret the feedback you get from people because when you're at a con, especially with a bunch of other designers, and you get designers to jump in and play your game and test it, and it feels really good, but they're going to want to redesign your game, right? And so all of their suggestions, like they'll have suggestions, they're going to be like, oh, it should be like this, and they're like maybe that isn't actually what you wanted to do. So you have to kind of like look past the suggestion at why they brought it to you, right? It's like if someone wants a game to be, this is also a sign that your game is good, right? When someone has a suggestion and it's like they just wanted the game to be a little bit easier for them or to work in their play style because they just wanted that edge, right? So those suggestions are all about like, well, what would make it better for me? And when you're there, you have a pretty good skill game at that point. Yeah, that's a good idea. I have thought of that. I just spooled it back up, and I actually ordered a printed prototype for the first time because I feel pretty good about the current design. So I'm waiting for that to come in. But I'm going to do a playtest at Buckeye Games Fest, and I think I'm also booked at some some game day at a college somewhere that my wife found. But I'm also going to do Unpub at Origins. Not sure if you guys are familiar, but Unpub is they kind of it's kind of like a focused playtesting event for board games in development, and are they do like all sorts of cons. They have room at Origins, and they're going to do like a couple days. So I'm like Saturday night, I think I'm going to do Unpub, which is pretty good. The way it really goes. So like if you're really interested in board game design philosophy and like what is the real process to do it, like there's so many. It's just like every creative endeavor. There's like tons of people doing it, and there's some people who feel like they could document the right way. But you don't have to do it the right way. You could do it whatever wrong way you want. It's fine. Like, oh, which is to say there is no wrong way. I mean, there's no wrong way. But if you go to like a board game design lab or stonemeyergames.com, he has like a real good breakdown on how you do it, and it's like you do your prototypes, you do play testing, and then you do blind play testing, which is where you hand people a rule sheet and you don't explain it to them and you see how they do. And that has more to do with refining your rules, like the way your rules are written, and then maybe even the way that the rules are communicated on the components and the cards themselves. And then there's whole things about pitching to publishers and what it's like to kickstart and what the slog is to get people invested in your Kickstarter before you launch your Kickstarter. It's it's a lot, and I'm just kind of focusing on making my game good right now, but also building up, content and social media because, like I say, that ends up being a really important thing when you decide to actually take it to market. Is people do have to know about you, so you do have to be managing your own social media presence, which is tough to do. Any other questions? Nope. Thank you.
Thanks so much for sharing. Give me a moment while I switch up. Actually, just give me a sec too, because I just realized actually, you know what? I got a better idea. Give me a moment while I load up the next one. So next one we're going to be running is a very unique presentation. We've been working with one of our presenters that we've been using, or our COGG members that we've been using from is actually from Poland. He found our YouTube channel a couple months ago, working on a Roadblocks games. Before I kind of get into that, I kind of wanted to taper off some of the notes that Jason noted about. So you're talking about, let's see where you went. Buckeye Game Fest, I think, is April 7th, if I looked that up correctly. If you're not familiar with board games in Columbus, there's a really good one called the Origins Games Fair. That's usually sometime in July. And if you want to get involved in board games, we obviously are happy to have those here too. But another sister site, so to speak, that we like to let people know about on Facebook is called the Columbus Game Design Group, or Game Group, CDG. We call them like our tabletop partners in a sense, and they're a really great group of people too. If you're really looking to get into that as well, we'd be happy to kind of connect you. I can send you their information too. We try to put them up on our Discord and website as well. So yeah, give me a moment while I get some of these loaded up, and then I'll show you some really cool Roblox games. Grab something real quick. See if that works. All right, I think we're ready to go. We're gonna keep things moving. So I just had to load up a couple things. I totally forgot about it. So um, I've got a video, an intro, but I was like mentioning before, Drift is actually one of our COG members on Discord. He's from Poland, so when we talk, it's usually like really late at night for him and early in the morning for me. So it's kind of cool because like what I like to tell people is from anywhere, any background, as long as it's game related and it's family friendly, we are happy to have you part of our group. Like I mentioned, Drift is actually someone that just happened to stumble upon one of our game dev meetups online. And we're happy to have a way to kind of showcase their progress. And in this instance, it's a Roblox game called.
And Wes,
Yeah.
Drift is online with us
Oh,
right
cool.
now. Yeah.
Hey! You are up very late. I forget how late it is. Oh, well, I take that. I think it's 5 or 6 hours, so it's getting pretty late. So I won't take too much time. But yeah, so Drift has been making a game in Roblox as kind of like a tour simulator. Been showing us progress as we go. And so Roblox is a kind of like Lego-like mechanic game that you can kind of create all kinds of different worlds and games and all kinds of cool stuff. So we're showing a little bit of progress today, some cars and buses that they've made, and show a little bit there. But before we do that, let me go ahead and do. He does these really cool intros, so I'm going to showcase this.
All the cowards at your feet.
So the County of Rosefield is the name of the game, the simulation. And today we're going to be going through, I think it's this track. So he's always like sending me screenshots, so I figured I'd kind of show this a little bit. So as you can tell, it's a lot of work in progress, a lot of already created content. And that, if you haven't seen, is kind of the name of the game. If you're consistently working on stuff, you will make some really cool projects. So let me go ahead and load up the game and get through because I want to show you a lot of cool stuff. Let's see if I can get that going. So what's kind of neat about this is the way I've been able to go through this is just kind of play with him, kind of invite me into his world, the world that he's created called the County of Rosefield, and basically playing whenever. Like you kind of go through, you can invite your own friends. They did kind of like racing simulations in this world, which is kind of cool. But he's like been asking questions about like, hey, what kind of cars should I make? What kind of buildings? What kind of like should there be a factory here? Should there be different NPCs here? At some point, maybe and in this instance, it's kind of like a tour simulation. So it's kind of going around and exploring the world. So yeah, so we have a couple of different buses. You kind of saw we had the COG bus, but new that he's been kind of showcasing us, and he's been showcasing this both kind of in his own Discord as well as the COG Discord. So if you have games that you want to kind of show progress in, there is a Share Your Games channel in Discord that you can just freely post your own project and then do screenshots, updates. You can add your own resources and whatever, your own Discords. But kind of made these new cars, which I thought is kind of neat. So how many of you have never seen this before? I'm just kind of curious. Cool, great. That's what I was wondering about. Is like, how many of you have never seen this before? As I was telling them, is like we might get some new folks in here who has seen it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do kind of the old classic bus route. So you kind of just go in here. Oop. There we go. Oh, I did the one mistake, which is jump. So hold on. There we go. All right. One thing that he also created that I thought was really clever is last time I did this, I am a bunch of brain farts, and I don't remember the tracks that I'm supposed to go to. So instead, he's created these wonderful X's. So knock on wood, there's no way for me to mess this up. Knock on wood. But yeah, so we're kind of going through the county of Rosefield. There's more blockers, and I was telling them too. Like one thing that's kind of neat now that you have that mechanic is maybe as a self-guided tour, you can kind of go through and say you want to go through the beach or you want to go through the factory route or whatever. Then you can kind of like set those up to lock and unlock different areas. So as you're kind of going through, see, there's another area. You can kind of go through and decide where to move through based on which track you decide to go in. So in this, one of the new things as well is he's gone ahead and I think in this one in particular, he's recreated the bus. Slow down too much. Oh, yeah, maybe. See if I can find a way to mess this up. I will find a way. Here, see if I can fast travel. Okay, now you need to be a bus driver again. Oh, controls, that's right. I think I locked something. I think I did this last time. It's funny, none of this, I just tested this today, so let's see if he's, I know. I could do that. There's something in like Roblox where it's the
Wes,
X
you put
key.
the handbrake on. Use
I
shift.
did. There we go. There we go. Thank you. He was probably telling you, he's like, he did it again. To be fair, I've never driven a bus in real life. So for those of you who are new, this is kind of neat. Drift has been actually making cafes for folks, so ours is there. We have a COGG cafe. There's a Vexus. There's OMG Rose on a field. So there's lots of cool stuff that you can go in here. So if you too have a business that you maybe we can see if we can do a Boxland Media. That'd be kind of cool. So he's kind of created some of these. Some of these are assets that you can grab, within Roblox itself, but a lot of these too have been kind of built within, like say for example the trees and whatnot. I remember he was kind of making those within Roblox itself. A lot of these roads are kind of hand placed, so that's why you can see like big gigantic gaps because it's like a work in progress in some instance. But yeah, it's kind of like moving through playtesting, see how it works. He's got a lot of friends that come over and plays with him and goes through the mechanics. Oh, this is me telling me I went the wrong way. No, wait. No, I did go the right way. I just need to turn into the tunnel. Okay. Let's see. All right. Whoa. So have you guys ever seen the movie Speed, where you have to go a certain miles per hour or the yeah. So I went too slow on that turn here. It is, yes. So hold on. I got an idea. Take that. Now just the only problem is when that happens, I then instantaneously do not become a driver anymore. So I have to jump back on the wheel and start driving again, or the bus might go crazy. So he's built like tunnels like these. He's built the lights, trying to play around. He was telling me to like play around with the the rendering. Oh, dang. Wipe out. Okay. Oh, oh, okay. Get back in there. Get back in there. Something. Oh, I just hit shift again. Sorry. Now I know it's maybe it did. There we go. Okay, cool. So yeah, he's kind of put up some of these different construction signs and even kind of to indicate kind of like make it feel real life. And he was telling me is a bit like kind of thinking of it as like a European type of city of sorts. So that's telling me not to turn left, not to go straight, but go right. And so he's trying to find different, stylings of buses, different types of cities, buildings, constructions, And I thought it's kind of a neat way to create this interesting simulation. That yeah, maybe you just want to create a new world based on different types of. I think in this one there's the logistics headquarters, but I think that just goes to the factory. I think I'm supposed to go this way in some of the new areas. Yep. Um, so yeah, so in terms of design, it's kind of like a level design kind of concept where you're kind of putting up signs, putting up like what humans might be coming by to kind of showcase what they're working on and even work in progress, seeing those things updated. OMG factory. I like that. So, but yeah, I mean, I've seen some incredible things like this built in Roblox. So if you've never gotten it to try and maybe even not built games before, Roblox and even some people argue like Minecraft is a great way to kind of just think of designs and kind of go through and concept out different ideas in your head, right? Like, so maybe you might be thinking about, what kind of world, I'm going really fast, um, that you might want to create. You can kind of put it down on paper, so to speak, pretty quickly. Um, much faster than I feel like when I was like in college years ago at CCAD. I was talking about that. Um, and yeah, just having fun creating things and then sharing them, right? I did this last time.
Drift would like to say that the lighting was broken in there somewhere. It was
Oh,
supposed to look a lot better.
yes. So it's a constant state of working with the rendering and lighting too. This is a new kind of like little town, so to speak, like little areas of the house that he's kind of been working on. He's been cleaning those up, areas to park, and he likes working on transit stuff. So there's like like a train track alongside the road, and he's trying to figure out all these different things, looking up different maps of different cities, trying to replicate different parts of those. So it's a pretty interesting way to kind of go through some of these designs. This part is kind of moving into the beach areas. Either one of these is fine. I like this off-road one. Of course, I'm going to eat my own words because it's super bumpy. So you got like the beach tour, so to speak, kind of side seascape we were talking about in the video. Oh, can't go that way. Wow. No faster than 55 miles an hour, but no slower than 30. I forget what it is. I haven't seen that movie in forever. Um, oh, I was looking at the other road and was not paying attention. Um, yeah, this is not a time to screw up. Uh, yeah, it's kind of fun just to kind of go through here. So if this is something you might be interested in playing around with, let me know. There's, like I mentioned in the Discord channel, there's a uh, share your games channel that Drift is consistently posting updates on. And so if you ever want to join the Roblox is free also. So um,
Hey Wes,
yeah.
Drift was saying you haven't set all of the graphic settings on max, which is why it doesn't look as good.
Oh, my laptop probably can't do that.
Yeah,
This is like
we
a
could set it on
1070.
maximum. We can watch it blow up.
Yeah, it will blow up.
Test the studio
Probably
fire
My
extinguishing
other
settings.
computer probably will, but yeah. There you go. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Is it getting hot in here? Or is it just my laptop? Um, yeah. So this was kind of a neat thing. He just started putting sheep in there. I don't know if we can hear it, but there's like subtle sheep sounds, so kind of creating the countryside. Um, and then I think that'll kind of get us pretty close to rounding ourselves back in where we started. Don't think I'm gonna get my oh yeah, I'm getting there. I haven't passed my bus driver's license yet, but I'm getting there. I'm not gonna be driving any kids anytime soon. That's for sure. Um, But yeah, so as we kind of go through some of these game mechanics and games that we're presenting today, one thing I would ask the group is if you ever do get a chance to kind of review and give feedback, um, please do, because it's kind of one of the biggest like reasons that motivate our developers to kind of consistently keeping updates and whatnot, but as well as okay, yeah, as well as just give them something to kind of work on and not work inside of a bubble, right? I think that's one of the big things that we kind of consistently do is we create things, not whether it's games or something else in our life, is we consistently would like to get feedback. So if you do have feedback for Drift, that would be great as well. So yeah, we're kind of back where the cafe is, kind of cycling back into town. And I'm stuck on the curb again. Yeah, yeah. Oh. Well, yeah. Okay. I don't know if the controls are going because I am driving crazy. But yeah, at some point it'd be kind of cool. I was talking to Drift. He said maybe sometime it'd be a little bit complicated to do, but we can get like AI or not AI, but like an NPC or computer to self-drive around in this world for you. So when you say I want to do a specific tour track, um, you can just select whichever tour you want to do, and it'll take you and come back and park where it needs to. But for right now, this is kind of what we got. So this is the bus station, and yeah, so that's Rosefield, and yeah, give it a chance to try it out. And thanks, Drift, for coming by. It's cool that you actually stopped in for that. And I guess any questions? So, well, I mean, I don't know if he's able to talk or whatnot, but I can answer some questions as well if he's not able to. But anybody have questions about the simulation, the game, the process, any of the mechanics that you might think about? No big deal if not. A shield. So the very important question that Shield asks is how much did the bus cost and how much is the pass to ride the bus as a ticket? So that I'd be interested to hear your response if you do not have that yet. I would love to hear what it would cost to join a tour like this. Be kind of interesting to see. And that might be something neat, like maybe as you go through a couple different tours, maybe you get a rewards program and you go through and after 3 trips you get like one trip free or something like that. It'd be kind of cool. Yeah, John. Oh, Crazy Taxi. Yes. Simpsons Road Rage. Yes. 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 Yeah, that'd be kind of neat to so if you haven't seen Drifters, I don't know if they have those as much um, in say European countries. But yeah, Crazy Taxi and Simpsons Road Rage, especially Crazy Taxi, had some really cool arcades in the U.S. Where you're kind of picking up people and dropping them off to like crazy places, right? So it's like you're picking a scuba diver off at underwater beach, right? So. But some of those mechanics might be kind of neat, and it's like really what it's about is getting people to kind of play the game and to Jason's like notes, like make sure you have a specific design to get some ideas. Uh, is it aligning to the design and experience that you want, right? But drawing inspiration from other games is a great way to kind of get you inspired to try some things new out and see what works and what could be added and improved. So, but really great start. I think it's turning out really awesome. I can't wait to show some more progress in the future. And then yeah, does anybody else have any other questions for Drift while we're here? Any other notes, comments?
The answer to the first question was £300,000.
300,000 pounds. That's for one ticket, right? Or for a bus?
The bus? Undetermined.
Yes. Question in the back. So, do you plan to add a what bus? Oh, Penn and Teller's Desert Bus. So that, Mayor, I'm not even. What is that?
What, you don't know the desert bus?
your drive, is this a game or is? Oh my gosh. So uh, so it's a Penn and Teller reference where it's a joke game that you basically drive for like 6 hours straight. Real time hours? That sounds crazy. I love it. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Wow. That's hilarious. So that's So I will tell you, if you implement this mechanic drift where which is pretty funny because now they're talking about you're driving a bus and it slightly drifts, so you have to kind of realign it. Um, you have an entire audience that would find that amazing. So if you do implement that, there would be some people in here that would find that very amusing. So cool. I didn't even know about that. I learned something new. So that's really cool. I have to look that up. He said, was that Sega Genesis? Sega CD. Okay. Penn and Teller Smoke and Mirrors. Okay. You have a copy. Well, someday during one of our events, I'd love to try it out sometime. I think that would be not for the full 6 hours. I don't think I could do that, but get the gist of it. Oh my gosh. Oh, so you can get towed and have to wait a long time to get recovered. That's so funny. That's so funny. So so we'll do one last comment and then we'll get to the next one. But yeah, Shield had to hand. So the drift. The question is, what other locations do you plan on adding next? Do you think? Now, while he may or may not be tuning in, I know that he's got um, a I think it's going to be a subway system or a train system. There was some of the areas as you're first going along. There's some tunnel systems that he has to kind of create and develop in those. And some of the actual areas themselves are still in development. Like they're like you saw the more finished version of the urban city area, or I guess the urban houses or whatnot. Um, and so those are consistently being updated as well. And yeah, so I would say more to find out. I don't know if he's said anything yet, Caleb. If you got the
Yeah,
question.
so the next planned expansion will be an airport inspired by Heathrow International.
Oh, cool. So an airport. Yeah, that would be really cool. So sweet. Oh, well, thanks. Yeah, my flying skills are not any better. So I'll try. I'll try. But yeah, thanks so much. Well, I think this was great, Drift. I'm glad we got a chance to kind of show it off, and thanks everybody for your feedback too. This has been great. All right, I think we're gonna go to our last presentation of the day. Let me see what we're doing on time. Oh, perfect. Um, cool. So while I kind of switch out, we will have. Forget what game you're presenting today. You're a couple or one or okay. Okay. So we got Balloon to the Moon 2, if not more. So while we move through, hold please. You can come on up.
Drift says, "Yay, I could go to sleep now."
Yes, you can go to sleep. Please go to sleep. Just got extra keys. This is for. This is for audio. Let me go ahead and unplug. Connect. Okay. Where's the cable? Oh, yeah. Going to show up. Kind of late. Yeah, like rotate things. Also, I'm like turning myself on straight here. Well, here I am. Waving the display. Oh, you mean like actually like go through screen presentation? Changing the resolution. Yeah, it's always change the port. That's always the magic. Okay. Okay, this thing on. Okay. Yay. All right. So I gotta like figure out something here. I have like these notes, but it doesn't appear like it actually wants to show up when I do the slideshow. But I guess I can just do without it. I didn't actually write much to begin with. So hi. My name's Garrison Smith. I am the founder and developer of Perspective Games. So the main game I wanted to show off today was Balloon to the Moon 2, but I also have some other projects that I would like to show off. Now, just as a quick history behind Perspective Games, now technically the origins go date back as far as 2012, and but that was just me, making games on Scratch and all that. And but in 2017 is when I started making games with Game Maker Studio, and I started publishing them under GameDev on Congregate. Then in 2020, I switched to itch.io and Newgrounds and rebranded as Jake Koner Games because that's actually my online username. Uh,
in 2021, is when I started using Perspective Games, and it's also when I initially built my own website to host my games. But then 2023, I went back to Itch, Newgrounds, and even joined Game Jolt. That Since the website wasn't very profitable. In 2024, I filed for an LLC of my company. So like my legal business name is Perspective Works Limited, and it's also when I started selling physical copies and as well as attending events like GDEX of last year. In 2025, I actually got my first game out on Steam. Yeah. Uh, these are a quick list of my games here. The first game I ever made with the Game Maker Studio was Maze Man back in 2017. Then there was like Lost Caverns of the Wolf Demons, Super Cube Game 1, Gun Ranger, Ultimate Jump Boy, Triangles Love Squares, which was the first game to use Perspective Games, and then Balloon to the Moon, Infections Roots, which is the game that's on Steam, by the way, and there's Sharp's Tower Adventure and Sky Striker. Both were released in 2024. So I also have some QR codes here. One's for my itch page, and one's for the Steam page. The reason I would normally just put the Steam page, but since I only have one game out on Steam and much more on itch, I figured I give you links to both if you want to check them out. Does anyone want to like need a moment or something? I also got some other QR codes coming up. Right, we're all good. All right, this is the Discord. My Discord server. You're allowed to actually advertise your own games, and you can also potentially join our development team. Does anyone need a moment for this? Or okay, I'm gonna move on. Now I also have my YouTube and Blue Sky account. Again, does anyone need a moment here? This is just if you want to follow more updates. I think it makes it easier to follow any updates on things. Right.
They will all be on the YouTube video on demand as well if you missed it and
Okay.
you want to go get it later.
Right. I also put them at the end. So anyway, now I was actually planning on expanding to have teams and be able to make more games. This is kind of the idea I have so far. Now, when I say like my teams, I mean right now it's just me, unfortunately. But the idea was that like I would have a core team, which would be me and maybe some other programmers, and we would work on the concept and core mechanics of the game, and then from then on we would kind of like start collaborating with other developers, other teams, and we would still the main core team would still be part of the development, but the other teams would like work on stuff like menu design, graphics, enemy aesthetics, or level design. So that was an idea we were having here. But anyway, but uh, not everything's set in stone. I'm still like trying to figure out what I should be doing when it comes to hiring developers. But I did create a document for Sharp's for the next Sharp game I'm working on. So if anyone wants to join that team, yeah, here's the QR code to see the document for it. Right. Now for some upcoming projects, I have Sharp's Adventure, which is a super fast platforming and a semi-sequel to Sharp's Tower Adventure. Right now, I'm just waiting for a team to form, and I estimate development time is going to be about 6 months. I have Frontier Ranger, which is where you explore a newly colonized planet, find new tools to explore more, and unveil its secrets. It's still in the prototyping phase. And then I have Sky Labyrinth, a top-down platforming shooting game with lots of levels. This one I do need to finish coding first, and the only people I need to help is just some level designers, and I estimate the game would take about 3 months. All right, so Balloon to the Moon 2 is a sequel to Balloon to the Moon, obviously, which is a precise platforming where you bounce on balloons and avoid spikes. The sequel is the same concept here, but it is now a free roaming platforming game rather than a go left to right game. The goal is to find all the treasures scattered throughout the moon. The game was inspired by Jet Set Willy on the ZX Spectrum and Fez back from 2012, I believe. Even the graphics for both games were actually sort of inspired by the design of a ZX Spectrum. This is what Jet Set Willy is and what a ZX Spectrum game looks like, where it's kind of black and white, but it has like these digital color overlays to give it color. All right, so here's the story of the game. So after the first game, Peter, who is the character you play as, made it to the moon, only to discover that the moon is inhabited by what are called moon rabbits. Peter soon meets the moon princess. She tells Peter that normally outsiders are not allowed to live on the moon, but she offers Peter a deal. If Peter can okay, I need to check my own spelling again. If Peter can collect all the treasures scattered about the moon, then she will allow Peter to stay. Peter accepts this offer, and to get one thing out of the way, yes, I was inspired by Japanese folktale and anime. So, uh, okay, so this is the part where I go get the gameplay here. Uh, so, right, let's. So here it is right here. I think audio's not playing again. It happens with let me reset it real fast. Sometimes it doesn't. Uh, HTML files normally have an issue. Sometimes when you boot them up, they don't want to play any files on. It's not a technical setup. It's just the fact that we're having a. Yeah, let me get into the game because sound effects should be working fine.
You try clapping twice.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't work. It never works.
Okay, it's not playing any audio. Also, I need to wipe the save file real fast just so we can start over. Whoa. Yeah, I don't think that's very desirable. The balloons don't pop in this game, actually, but. Alright. Now, one thing you might have noticed is that earlier this said continue, but then when I write my save now, it's in question marks here. This is because that sorry, I'm like losing my train of thought because once you wipe the save, there's no game to continue, so you have to firstly start over the game here. But actually, I might know what the issue is. Maybe real fast if I could just fix the. Okay, why can I not exit this now?
You try to put your cursor to the top of the screen.
Yeah. I'm just like wondering if I can just access settings real fast, cause.
So yeah, top. Yeah.
There we go. Did I mention that I'm not a fan of Mac? The only like planning on getting a potentially selling this for a new Windows machine, but controls.
You almost had it. Above privacy. Yep, right there.
Alright.
Two up. Control settings.
Alright.
There should be a show volume audio.
Show audio.
Sound will show it.
What? Sound show when active.
Yes. Click on that. Always show a menu bar. Now it should show up on your top.
Yeah.
Making sure. Okay.
I don't think that this is a tech issue. I think it's just Mac. Mac is always. External audio, maybe. I don't know. Is it?
Or wonder if you could connect it to your HDMI. I don't know if that's the mix.
HDMI splitter, maybe. What does that do?
You should be able to
Wait.
play around here.
I heard something.
Try playing around with the volume and see. Wee.
Sorry. Okay.
It definitely says no audio.
Oh yeah, it's saying that there's audio up here.
Oh, mute and unmute the tab. I think you actually muted your system for a second.
Yeah, I did. That's.
We can still do this. Oh, I heard. Yeah, I did.
There we go. Now let's see if we can get the music to play here. Actually, I could just pipe back out and see if he'll do it again here. This game's actually not going to be released as an HTML5 file. It's just because HTML5 is universally compatible with like a lot of devices, especially when you can just run them locally. And right now I can't export this to Mac, but so anyway. So hi, it's me, the Moon Rabbit Princess. Even though I came up with these tests, that doesn't mean I can't help you. To move, use AD or the arrow keys on the keyboard, or you could use the D-pad or analog stick on a controller. So that's basically telling you how to move. You definitely don't want to touch these red spikes because it's a little lethal. You're going to have to jump over this. Press W or up arrow space on the keyboard, or press A or the X button, whichever controller you're using. Because I have no idea if people are going to use a PS4 or PS5 or Xbox controller, but look at these balloons, jump on them, and you'll go for a ride. Wait, why is there no audio again? Oh, geez. Did I mute the tab or something? Oops. We don't want to go to apple.com. Oh, there it goes. That's weird. These flags are checkpoints. If you die, you'll respawn at the checkpoints. These are statues of our moon goddess. She protect. Again, need to check my spelling again. Projects all on the moon, including you. Not only is this a checkpoint, but it also saves your game. So basically, this is how you save your game. Right now, you need to hit down, but I might just make it automatic in the future. But these objects will kill you. If you jump, if you jumped in the sea of spikes at the start, you probably already know that. But don't touch these. That goes for anything that is red, pretty much. Okay, I'm going to turn down the audio just a little bit here. These are the treasures you need to complete your trial. On the top right of your screen, you can see you can see the number of treasures you need to collect in each area in the whole game. Sorry, the text is a little small. These are locked walls. You will need to grab all the keys in the area to unlock them. So, yeah. Humanlings are too weak to reach that treasure. You need to collect the 5 elixirs, but there's one right there, but you need to come back later to get that. So we don't have the jump height to reach this, but if we collect all 5 of these elixirs, we can come back later and get that. But all right, that's the end of this tutorial. The arrows at the end of the room will take you to the next room. Press P or start to pull up the map and see your progress. Good luck. So this is the map right here. I don't have it 100% finished, but but as you can see here, there's each area, it tells you where you are to begin with, and it also tells you how many treasures in the area. So we collected 2 out of 3 treasures. So we go next here. So we just got 2 treasures right there. So now if I pull up the map again, we're in Moonscape pretty much, and we are in. He says there's 8 treasures here. We just got 2 of them. So there's supposed to be music, but again, it has an issue loading the music. There's only like 1 track right now, but I plan on writing more tracks. But right? Yeah. I know. Actually, well, some of the graphics are reused from the first Balloon to the Moon game, uh, the coding is actually a bit different. It uses the new Game Maker's new move and collide function rather than the old place meeting. Place meeting is not completely obsolete right now, but move and collide is just the better collision for moving. This isn't my first time I've talked and played. Yeah. Actually, it might be a good thing that the music's not playing, because one thing you're probably going to learn about game development is, okay, this is a little much for the MacBook, but yeah, but so there's a second elixir. Right now, this build doesn't actually keep track of the elixirs you collected. It does now, but so anyway, let's go to right here. Okay, so this is another coin you can't get. This is the palace. Once you collect all the treasures, you're actually supposed to come back here and enter it. And this is where you'll end the game, basically. But we keep moving to the right here. We'll find some more areas to explore. How am I doing time-wise? Okay, because like there's like a lot to explore right now. I mean, like this game plans to have 36 rooms. And I think like at least 25 of them are done, I believe, or at least the layouts are done. But 5 more minutes. Okay. Does that include Q&A, or is that okay? So this level right here is a cellar. Yeah, Game Maker Studio. It's a free to use engine. It's one of those where you're allowed to, download and start building, but you will have to like actually buy like a module or whatever when you want to actually download something. So this is the factory, but oh, I died again. But you can also go up here, and this will take you to the garden here. We were in the palace earlier. That's where we entered the cellar, but this is the garden right here. I'm like trying to frantically like cover as much ground as possible because due to time limitations, but this is a kind of a platforming challenge here. You kind of gotta like kind of hit these two balloons and not hit the wall. It's a little hard with the keyboard, or at least a Mac keyboard. Game Maker has a built-in sprite editor and animation editor. I mean, like, and it's actually surprisingly pretty good. The sprite editor in Game Maker is like they could actually release it as like a separate program or something. A spine? Oh, spline. Oh, oh, that's actually coding the that's just like slight movement. I did like a basic wave. Yeah. So this is slopes here, or no wait, mountains. And oh yeah, it doesn't track you. I don't think it works in this build yet. I think I have it working now, but right now certain rooms it actually won't tell you where you are. I kind of have to manually program each room, but right, I'm going to try to go back the other way because now I want to show you a bit of more of the underground areas. But oh wait, that's a pit. Yeah. Yeah. Also, these clouds here are like mini trampolines, pretty much. Oh, okay, gotta work on that spine position. Also, one thing you might have noticed is that the balloons actually are assigned random colors every time they load on. Yeah, every time like they load, they assign themselves to a random color. But uh, also, one thing you might have noticed on the title screen a little bit is that there were two blank like mystery icons. It's meant to be like a bit of a post game. The idea is that like once you complete, you unlock New Game Plus, where you have all your abilities at the start, and there's going to be like an extras mode where it's just a series of like basic arcade style levels. They're kind of like laid out how they were in the first game, but uh oh, I need to get the key. That might help because I kind of want to go down there, and you need the key to get that. Oh wait, the key's right here. All right, Mac's about to slow down again. What's funny is as the competitor disappears, or the particles, the Mac starts speeding back up to its normal speed. Right, so now we're underground here. I don't Is the background supposed to be here? I thought I already set that up, but uh, I'm just going to keep going down. Okay, there's the background. Uh, as you can see, there's also some parallax scrolling going on here. So you're actually pretty agile in the air. You gotta like use that to complete some levels. Um, yeah, yeah. But oh yeah. Speaking of post game, failed again. What? uh, it's a little hard to see due to this light right here. I almost didn't see that balloon right there, but so now we got falling mine carts. God, Orsha's going to have a field day with this place. But oh, thank you. Oh, I got the shoot. uh, actually, that's a good question, actually. But I think it was just because like I was looking for a basic 2D engine, and GameMaker was like the one I actually had the most brand recognition with. And also and it also appeared the most professional because like I think a lot of like the other strictly 2D engines didn't involve coding, I believe. Oh yeah, that might have been the reason, just because like the other like dedicated 2D engines are like Construct and GDevelop, I believe, and I'm pretty sure there's like some. Oh yeah, and Click Team Fusion, but none of them involve coding at all. This one does allow coding, and when I started using GameMaker was at a time when I was just learning how to code in Java in general. I forgot this dungeon was even here. I don't even think we ever needed to use this. So basically, this is the game admitting that this is just kind of pointless. But anyway, yeah, well, that's not exclusive to GameMaker. I think Construct can do the exact same thing. But yeah, actually, there was an interesting limitation I ran into. Actually, I was trying to see if I could get my games to run on Raspberry Pis, but Raspberry Pis, they use Linux normally, but the problem is that GameMaker's Linux export here exports to x86 architecture, and Pis use ARM. But kind of interesting enough, recently I found out that Windows is making a ARM version of Windows, and GameMaker actually updated itself to allow you to export to Windows ARM. So basically, it might be possible in the future if for any user that uses Windows on Raspberry Pis. But okay, I missed a jump there. Also, yeah, we're like on the bottom right here, but and we're actually getting close to the end of the map right here. This is like the edge, right? This is a teleport. It will take you to where I am at the Deep Garden, which right now I haven't gotten the graphics down for that yet, but so it's just an arrow. But now we're in the Deep Garden. We're on like the other side of the game now. This is the Deep Garden. Incredible that life can grow down here. It's one of the most sacred places on the moon. I found one of the treasures in an elixir. I figured I'll give it to you here. I know you can do it. Good luck. There's supposed to be a tree and some flowers, but I didn't get around to the graphics on that yet. So technically, right now there's actually nothing growing down here. But now we're back to the cave. Is this about time? Uh, is it possible I could show off Balloon to the Moon one real fast if any of you guys are curious? I'll just make this super quick, but we have Balloon to the Moon 1 here. This is actually available on itch. Uh, music's not even playing. It normally doesn't. That's weird. Uh, Normally you gotta like reset it or something, but you gotta like refresh the browser, and sometimes it'll work. But oh, there we go. This one I didn't actually make at all. It was it was like Perry Tunes or something I used, but anyway. So this is just basically the first game. As you can see, it plays kind of similar. It's a platforming where you're bouncing on balloons. Big difference here is that it's just a linear game, linear level by level game, pretty much. This was made in 2022, so this one is just basically Peter wanted to go to the moon, and he was also obsessed with balloons, so he got the idea to just release a bunch of balloons into space and then just use all the balloons that being released to bounce his way there, pretty much. Yeah, I was kind of being a little, I guess, creative with this one. I don't know, but right, and that's level one. Also, now I wonder if is it going to work? Okay, no, it didn't. It would be funny if the music just suddenly worked. Okay, I got the option to quit out. Right. And yes, I do use Opera GX. Right. So, any questions? Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah, I have played them. Actually, what's funny is that the Ultimate Jump Boy game was kind of like my take on sort of Super Meat Boy. So yeah, I definitely played it. Uh, yes. You mean the arcade K cabinet? Yeah. I haven't been able to. Well, I still have it, but right now I've just been using smaller computers for smaller events, and I also might need to change the computer that's used on it because the previous one was fairly underpowered and pretty much self-destructed on me. Yeah, yeah. It's for some reason not even running .exe files anymore for some reason. I don't know what's that about, but yeah. I'll probably just like buy like a well, if the Windows ARM thing works, I might use a Raspberry Pi, but I might just like buy like a single board PC or something like that, uh, or something. Any other questions? Yes. Uh, uh, which one are you looking for? The issue? That's Discord actually. Yeah, so you could just use Discord or something, or are you talking about Sharp's adventure though? Is that the one you were talking about? Yeah. Okay. This will take you to the document for that. Okay. I'll just head back to the. Uh, Also, one thing I want to bring up real fast is that I'll probably going to set up the store page on itch and Steam and GameJolt sometime in April, I believe. But that doesn't mean the game's going to be released in April. It's probably going to be looking about late May or something like that at the earliest. But yeah. Any other questions? Also, sorry if I did jibber jabber. It's Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for showcasing. I think that'll kind of taper us off before the last presentation for today. But I just want to kind of preface with this. Thanks so much for everybody taking the time out of their day to.
Yeah. Sorry.
I said nothing. Someone thinks they're funny. They gave me a Windows 10 screensaver.
Is it 11?
It's 11. Someone thinks they're funny.
Yeah.
Um,
At least a 3.1 might be at least nostalgic or whatever to somebody.
Cool. All right. So yeah, I just want to say thanks everybody for taking the time out today to kind of come out to our long time coming in-person game dev meetup. I know a lot of you have been looking forward to these. We're trying to do more of these kind of things. Obviously, every so often, just like this month, we had our prototype and play event at Game Arena. So we're trying to find new ways just to kind of get it out there and kind of diversify like where we're located. The goal is always just to kind of make sure that everybody has a place, whether they're online or in person, to kind of showcase or even interact with folks into game development, or just games in general, right? So we're a family-friendly game event. So if you are interested in this, contact us, talk to us. We're gonna have some time today to kind of go over networking things. We have someone kind of picking up some pizza. So if you are hungry, we've got a little bit of things that you guys can eat and snack on. But before I kind of like move into things, I guess I should probably connect something. I'd like to have Ben come up and talk a little bit about Boxland. See, it is Windows 10.
Well, hi everyone. I'm Ben.
Yeah,
back here.
you can
microphone.
You can do a mic.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Ben. I'm the owner here at Boxland. You may have been kind of wandering around this place, or at least looking around the room and kind of wondering, what the hell do they do here? We're a weird company. We started off as a video production company about a decade ago on Monday. And a few years ago, we got into podcasting, and a couple of years after that, we got into live venue type of things. And then 2 years ago, we moved into this much larger venue. There's a lot of things that we do. We do multimedia production, video production, animation. We've done hundreds of TV commercials. We've done tons of podcasts, video, YouTube channels, things like that, graphic design. And of course, we do events similar to this. We've done rock shows, theater events, that sort of thing as well. So all of the art hanging up on the walls is all for sale. It's part of a gallery that we have. These are all Central Ohio artists. If there's something here that you like, feel free to contact the artist. 100% of the proceeds goes right back to the artist because that's the way that it should work. So last thing I'll mention, we do have a bar. I mentioned that earlier. I was yelling about it and everybody else was too. If you are thirsty, feel free to go to the bar. All proceeds from the bar go to support Central Ohio multimedia art and artists. So thank you all for coming out today. Really appreciate it. And yeah, looking forward to doing more stuff like this. So thank you.
Awesome. Thanks so much. And like I mentioned before, thanks for everybody coming out today. Hang tight a bit. We're going to have a bit of food, but you're obviously welcome to come and go as you please. This is how these events go. So if you want to stay, hang out, and get to network with folks, feel free to do so. Hang out, grab some drinks and some pizza, hang out for a bit, however you want to do it. It's a casual thing. It's your party. Do what you want. But nevertheless, thanks for coming out. We'll talk to you guys later. And our next event is our online prototype and play event on our Discord channel, April 11th from 6 to 9 p.m. Be sure to check that down all our events, so I have to fix that. But it's the same thing every month, so if you're kind of familiar with that, but just keep tight. We'll get that updated as well. But thanks again. Catch you guys later. Have a great rest of your weekend. Bye-bye, everybody.